Hi pretties. We are doing another trauma dump. This one is a stepfather one. I have a lot of stories for this man. This is just gonna be part one. I'm just gonna be telling y'all 4 little stories about things that he definitely traumatized me as, and I still to this day have to pick up and be concerned about, and it affects me to this day. And I just want to put a disclaimer first, or like a little bit of a note. Like, if you are a woman, a mom specifically, and you are with a man, and any of these things sound the tiniest bit similar, please leave this man. This man is only causing trauma, not only for you, but for your daughter and your kids as well, okay? This man had gotten multiple fights with my brothers, fist fights, and that is why they left. So I don't really blame them, but I do blame them because they left. Well, I don't blame them, but I do have a little bit of resentment currently. I haven't forgave them quite yet because they left me and my little sister. We are the 2 youngest, and they left us around this man. Nobody tried to get us help. Nobody tried to tell us, nobody tried to tell my mama, hey, this man is bad, walk away, at least from my knowledge. So if you did, my mother does not tell me that. She, to this day tells me that nobody was like, hey Regina, this is not okay. So if you have somebody in your life, even if you're not that person with this man, you have somebody in your life who's going through this, get them help. Please get them help, because they might hate you. The woman, especially the mother, might hate you at first, but I promise you, okay, you're pulling my hair. Maybe you'll be in my next trauma video. But definitely get them help, okay? Because the mom might be mad at you, but those kids will be grateful for you in the future. I promise. I had neighbors and stuff who just looked at us and laughed and made fun of us. And nobody was really concerned. Nobody was really like, these kids are in danger. I'm going to give you all a little bit of a backstory about how him and my mother met and how he came about in our lives. My father left me when I was 11. He went to prison and never came back. Not that he was in prison the whole time, but when he got out, he just didn't want kids anymore. And my mother locked herself in a house that was on our land that was like super run down. And he, sorry, my mother stayed in a trailer that was in this house. Super run down, and no ma'am, thank you, no. She stayed in this trailer. She locked herself in there, and we didn't see her. It was me, my 2 older brothers, and then my little sister, all in this house. We had to fend for ourselves. My mom didn't come home and cook dinner. She locked herself in this trailer and never left. At the time, she was a cafeteria lady, and this was the beginning of the summer. My dad left literally the last day of school. So my last day of like my 6th grade year, I believe, he never came back. And moral of the story is 2 months later, my aunt and my uncle invited my mom to their house to have like this barbecue and get together, drinking and stuff. And again, me and my little siblings, me and my siblings had not seen her, had not heard from her, didn't know if she was okay. She didn't know if we were alive or dead. I was 11. This was in 2012. When she went to this party, she met this guy. I am going to put his full name because I hope that if somebody from my hometown watches this and knows this man, if cousins, all that, know him. I hope that if you're watching this and you know this man, you hold him accountable, because I'm thankful every day that I've never seen him again since this traumatic shit happened. Okay, let's get on. My mother met him. No. My mother met him. They ended up dating. She now was stuck around him 24/7. A month after they started dating, fucking, I don't really know their history. All I know is she got introduced to him, and then, yeah, I remember one of my first impressions was he was a heavy smoker, and my dad was too, so I already didn't like him. We found out he smoked weed, and at the time I didn't realize my dad was doing more than weed. So I assume my mother resented my father for the weed, and so I had a really big hate towards my mom and Mike. His name is Michael. Michael, fuck you, okay? I hope you rot in hell, and I hope right now you're living the most horrible life ever. And I don't wish that on nobody. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But you, I hope you go to prison one day and somebody kills you in there. And I know that's a lot, because I don't hold hate in my heart. I don't hold guilt. I don't hold none of that. I feel a lot of sympathy and I know that people have been traumatized, and not this man. I'm so sorry, but not this one. Okay, the first story I'm gonna tell y'all is, well, let me continue my backstory, I'm sorry, so it makes a little bit more sense. So, him and my mother started dating. A month later, he essentially moved into my home. He moved in with us. My mom came up to us, told us that they were dating, told me my father was gonna be in prison for 20 years, and he moved in. He worked as an AC unit. I was in middle school. My little sister was in elementary. My oldest brother had moved out, and then my two older brothers were living with us, but were just kind of doing their own thing. So they were really never home. They were always with friends, or they always had friends over, up until this man. This man, sorry, I'm getting a lot of anxiety now. We're just gonna go to the first story, okay? He lived with us. That's the moral of the thing, is he ended up moving in with us after a month. And he came in my life when I was about 11, and I think he ended up leaving after I turned 13. Okay, so my first story, I have it written down because I have a really bad memory, and what I could remember I wanted to write down. This is a lot of like traumatic stuff that I blocked out of my brain. So this is just bits and pieces that I could remember. So this is the first story. The first story is I don't remember why or what was happening, but when I was younger, we used to get spankings. Like, we got spanked by my mom, my father, my stepfather, my grandma. My grandpa never did, but my grandma. And I don't remember what I did to deserve to get spanked. I'm sure I didn't even do anything, really. I'm sure it was just him being a pedophile. But I did something to make him mad, which just to remind you, every little thing pissed this man off. Every little thing. Anywho, I'm sure I didn't even do anything serious. I'm sure he was just being a pedophile, but I remember he was mad at me. He wanted to spank me. We were on the porch of my childhood home, and I was just like, no, like, Mike, I don't want to get spanked. Like, I don't want to get a spanking. I don't want you to spank me. And I remember him just being like, I just remember, like, specifically, like, he was just like super stern. He wasn't like mad. He was just like, you know, and I was like, I don't want to get spanked. Like, please, like, I don't want to get hit. And he looks me dead in my eyes and goes, don't worry, one day you'll like getting spanked. I was 11 years old, guys. 11 years old. He said that to an 11-year-old. At the time, I'm 11. I had no idea what the fuck that meant. I had no idea what he meant by that. I was just kind of like, okay, like, what the fuck? Like, one day I like getting whoopings. Like, what the fuck? Now, being older, obviously, I know what he meant. Gross as fuck. That's gross as fuck. I'm so sorry, but that's so gross. That man is so fucking weird. And that's just one. This is one story, okay? Another story. Story number 2 is my mom had got income tax. We were very, 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 very poor family. And like I said, he worked for an AC unit and my father didn't work. So my mother worked, and then my stepfather worked for a little bit. And at the time he was working for an AC unit. I done forgot the name, but who really cares? But he was working for an AC company, not a unit, an AC company. And I remember, I don't know. We had got income tax, and my mom had bought us tablets for income tax. He wanted to wait until Christmas to give them to us. So we probably got our income tax back maybe like February, March, April, maybe April, the latest. And he wanted to wait until Christmas. My mom was like, no, I don't want to wait till Christmas. I remember them like bickering about it, or at least she told us they bickered about it, because yeah, so she told us that they bickered about it, and then she would allow us to have, I would say after a couple months of hiding them, she allowed us to have these tablets. And we didn't have Wi-Fi. Like I said, we were super poor. But my grandma, who lived on the same property as us, we lived in 2 acres of land. She lived on 1 acre. We lived on 1 acre. It was just one big property. We would just go over there on our little tablets during the day while he's at work. And just be on social media. That's when I started Facebook and all that crazy shit, right? I'm sure y'all can go find some weird ass shit that I used to post with my country, tomboy, pick me era, okay? Yeah, so I remember him and my mom had a conversation in front of us one day, like, I want to give the girls the tablets, like, you know, this was a couple months after us sneaking them, so we'd already been using them, pretending we didn't know nothing about them. And then he was just super like, no, they can't have them. And then one day he was like, okay, I guess, like, you can let them have them. And my mom gave them to us. We acted super surprised. We had them for about a month. And me and my little sister, now we would go sit out there until it was almost dark, because at dark you had to come in the house. At dark you had to come inside, you had to eat dinner, you had to take a bath, you had to get ready for bed. That's how it went, okay? I remember one specific day I went to my grandma's house. Me and my little sister, we had this giant like foldable chair. I mean, it was huge. It could fit like 2 600-pound people, okay? It was huge. This chair was huge. And me and my little sister would just sit in this chair and just be on our tablets all day in the Wi-Fi at my grandma's house in her backyard. Yeah, we would just use her Wi-Fi all day. And then I remember going back home. We had, you know, we didn't have Wi-Fi at home, so like we couldn't really use our tablets at the house. My bedroom was right next to the front porch, so we had this big window that was on the front porch. Now, I was not like a bad kid. I did not sneak out. I did not cuss. I didn't do anything like that. Like we grew up super Pentecostal, so that kind of just stuck with me for a while. I was a super good kid. I really didn't do anything. I was a little weird. I was definitely fucking weird. You know, definitely didn't get attention, definitely a pick me, but I was good. At the end of the day, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do drugs. I didn't sneak out. I didn't drink. I didn't do nothing crazy that you see 11, 12-year-olds doing now. I remember, damn, I don't even know. Like, I remember coming home that day, this one particular day, and we ate dinner, and me and my sister were like going into the room to get ready for bed for school the next morning. And at this point in him, my mom's relationship, I had already gotten in trouble for quite a few shit that I didn't do. Like, I don't know, just dumb shit, right? I don't even know, guys. It was just crazy shit. I would just get in trouble for anything and everything. And it was mainly by him. Like, he was the one always wanted to punish me. He always wanted to ground me. He always wanted me to be stuck in my room. He didn't ever want me to go out and have friends and do anything. My little sister could do whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't really like her. Me, whole different story. Hi. Yeah, so we were just, you know, I went into the room, he followed me in there, and I remember him getting mad and just start telling me, like, I was sneaking out of the house. I was sneaking out of the house through the window, through the porch, to go in the middle of the night to text dudes on my tablet in the Wi-Fi. That's what he was telling me. And I was like, no, what the fuck? No, I'm not doing that. What the hell? And he was like, yes, you are. You are going over there doing that. You are going to over there to sneak out the window. And I'm like, bro, like, you're tripping. Obviously, I'm not talking like that. Like, I respected my elders at the time. Give me my hair back. You're being mean to me. Anywho, he would just try to convince me that I was sneaking out of the house at 2-3 o'clock in the morning to go text dudes on my tablet. And my little sister's bed was right next to the window. So he was also including my little sister. He was trying to get my little sister to snitch on me. Snitch on me for what? I wasn't doing shit. She would literally like, no, like, she's not I mean, I guess maybe if I was like dead asleep, but I can't recall her doing anything. And I'm like mad as fuck. So I go to my mom, and he's like following me. He's mad at me, right? He wants to beat my ass. He wants to take my tablet and smash it. And he goes to my mom, and I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this. And I just remember this was the moment that I just knew my mom was not a girl's girl. My mom cared about this man than she did her own children. This was the moment I realized that I didn't have a mother. Sorry, Mom, if you watch this, but I didn't have a mother. Yeah, sorry. Let's not cry. She took a side. She said, well, I don't know what's true. And they took my tablet. I never got the tablet back. I'm sure they broke it, or he sold it, or I'm not exactly sure what happened. I just remember I never got the tablet back. My sister had hers for a little while till she broke it. Me, no. She took his side, thinking I was sneaking out of the house. She tells me now, like, oh, I know you weren't doing anything, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to get hit or get yelled at, and like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, like, leave. Like, I'm not, like, I'm really, like, on the fence about that, because I'm not one to be like, obviously, in certain situations, it's hard to leave a man, but leave. Like, especially if your child's in jeopardy. Do whatever you can. Call the cops. Run and hide in a homeless shelter with us. My grandma and my grandpa were right next door. They literally have 10 million guns. They are literally psychotic. Like, my grandma was the meanest bitch alive. Anyway, she took a side. She said that I was sneaking out of the house, and I wasn't. And I just remember feeling so defeated and so alone. I felt alone. I felt truly alone. I felt like I didn't have anybody. Even though my little sister stood up for me, like, I was older than her. I was the one taking care of her. I was raising her. They weren't doing shit. Yeah. This one's another pedophile one. My 13th birthday. So for my 13th birthday, this is like a first party I can actually remember. I remember like a lot of my birthdays I would get injured, and those are other stories, but Renee, you know what you're doing. But essentially, I had a 13th birthday party. I had a bunch of friends that I had just made. I had no friends up until this point. I finally made a couple. Sam and Cassie, shout out to you two, still love y'all. These are my first friends I ever made, like actually genuine people. And I invited them over, and I remember this one's kind of a two-part because this has two traumatic parts for me. The first one being, he bought me a hamburger birthday cake. As everybody's singing me happy birthday with my first birthday cake, he walks out with the hamburger birthday cake and looks at everybody. We're sitting at a table on the porch, and he looks at everybody and goes, "And this hamburger cake's for you, Fairy, because you're fat." Was I a chunky girl? Probably, yes. But what the fuck? In front of everybody, you're gonna hand me a hamburger birthday cake and tell me I'm fat? Like, for real? I don't even like hamburgers like that. Okay, that's the first part to the story. I guess it could kind of be a 3-part. Maybe I'll just tell the whole thing. Next part is he got obliterated drunk. This man had a drinking issue. He was an alcoholic. He got nasty drunk. And when he got drunk, he got mean as fuck. Like, he got abusively mean, okay? He got mean. He got crazy, okay? And I remember all my brothers and my friends just being outside and playing in the yard. We were playing football, and we were all just having a good time. And this was the last birthday party anybody ever showed up to because of this man. The first part of this will be he was drunk, like I said. And we're all standing, like I'm standing on the sidelines just watching my brothers play in this little field next to the house. And it's my now ex-sister-in-law and my oldest brother, and all my other brothers were there. My friends were there, and my whole family was there. And they're all just playing football, and he comes up to me and whispers in my ear like, "Hey, meet me by the wash shed." So we had a wash shed that was not connected to our house. It was behind our house, behind this like little field. It was kind of like hidden away in the back, and we called it our wash shed. And he asked me to meet him back there, and he wanted to talk to me. I think y'all know where this is going. Yeah, so he took me in this wash shed, and I remember standing in the doorway. He was standing in front of me, and he goes, "This is your 13th birthday. Like, I hope you like it. I hope you love it." I want to say he was unemployed at this time. I think my mom was paying for everything, but I can't really remember. But I'm pretty sure he was unemployed by that time. He quit or got fired or something. I don't know. He said he got fired. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But anyway, so he pulled me in the shed. He sits me on top of the washer, and he's just talking to me. Now, unless I blocked out of my memory, I remember us being back there for a while, and he was drunk as fuck. I don't think anything happened. I can't remember that anything actually happened, but essentially he sat me on top of the washer, and we were back there a long time, and he's just telling me about how much I mean to him and how much he loves me and he hopes I appreciate it. And then he looks me in my eyes and goes, "And if you think your 13th birthday was good, just wait until your 16th. It's gonna be even better." And I remember that comment made me extremely uncomfortable. I didn't really know what he meant, but I think I knew what he meant. And I didn't really know nothing. We didn't talk about stuff like that. I grew up around anything like that. And I just remember I was just so uncomfortable. I was like, "What? what? Okay. And I remember, like, just trying to make it, what the fuck? I saw that fly. I was just trying to make excuses for him to, like, for us to leave and go back with everybody else. And I remember, first of all, why was nobody concerned that me and this man were missing for literally an hour? It's my birthday party. This man disappeared and no one was looking for us? No one? At least me? And I just remember coming around the shed and nobody gave a fuck. Everybody just saw us and they were like, what about their day? Like, what? Girl. Yeah, I'd be overthinking too much. Somebody gonna have to get their ass beat if they do that with my kid. I'm sorry. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I remember, yeah. Then, no, I'm not even done with this part of the story. He goes around the corner. And I remember he got more drunk and my whole family was there. And I remember he was just being super, super disrespectful to my family. I can't really remember what was said, what happened, other than my mom and him arguing and, like, a yelling at each other fight. Like, I mean, full-blown yelling at each other. And everybody, my friends, everybody left. Everyone went home. And yeah, that was that. Nobody ever came over again. Yeah, he was so drunk. My brothers ended up moving in, like, with other people. I want to say my sister-in-law and my oldest brother. And nobody ever came over again. I never saw my aunts, uncles again. Yeah, it was horrible. Next story, and my last story. One of the most traumatic things he did. So, me and my little sister are at my neighbor's house, who lived right across the street. And, I mean, right across the street, you can see my entire front yard, the whole face of my house, everything, right? And we're all just sitting outside, playing, doing God knows what little kids do, right? And all of a sudden, I hear my mom and him yelling at each other, and she's chasing him to his truck, and he's yelling at her, cursing her out. I wanted to ask my mom what this fight is about so I could include it, but I didn't really want her to know I was making this video, to be honest. Yeah, I remember them yelling at each other, and obviously me and my little sister came home. Faith was already upset, crying. I was not quite upset yet, but I was very concerned. This is why I am the way I am with men now. Like, I'm very, like, hostile towards men because of this man. I'm very, like, I would never let a man hurt a woman or do anything like that because of him. I don't really know what they were fighting for, but they were fighting, yelling, arguing in the front yard. Everybody was walking outside watching them. And me and my little sister went home, and I have very vague memories of this. I just remember the main parts, so I am going to be skipping around a little bit. Essentially, this fight lasted until late in the night, and I remember me and my sister, I don't know, we were freaking out. I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a tablet, I didn't have anything, and yeah, I don't even know. Let me try to figure this out. I'm sorry. He essentially came into the house again. They both did after hours yelling outside. And my mom was obviously upset, crying, hysterical. He was walking in the bedroom mad as fuck. and I remember he just slammed the door and came out with a gun in one hand and a bullet like this fucking long, and looked at all three of us and said that he was gonna kill himself since we were better off without him. Looking back now, I wish he would have. But, of course, he didn't. He's a narcissist. So he just told us that to upset us. And I remember my mom chasing him outside, and I was begging and pleading, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't. And he's like, I don't know what happened. All I remember is it got really late and he disappeared. I think they said he disappeared in the woods or something. My mom called 911. The cops showed up. Me, my mom, my sister were all sitting in the kitchen, all sitting at the dinner table, all like in shock, crying, upset. I remember my two, not my oldest, but the two middle brothers came in the house, and they were like super concerned, trying to figure out what was happening. And, you know, we're telling them. And then my oldest brother comes in, and we're all telling them what happened. And then my grandma comes in, and she's getting the information. And I remember she was like, my grandma told us, the cops had like came back and forth, were calling my mom, keeping her updated. They never found him. I know where he went now, but they never found him. And they just told us, do not get in contact with him. If we see him, if we hear from him, immediately call 911. He's a harm to all of us, and you never know how he's going to react. So that being said, my mom made me and my little sister go to my grandma's for the night, and we went and slept at her house. She had an extra bedroom, and we slept over there. And I remember we watched Deuce Bigelow and Zombieland. Those were our two movies that we watched, and we had them on CD, and we were just watching them all night, crying. We had to go to school the next day like everything was fine. Get your hand. Thank you. And I remember the next day, you know, he was out of our lives. I don't know what happened to him, but I know that he was out of our lives for about a week. And then a week later, my mom and him walked, after school one day, walked through the front door, him and my mom. And I look at my mom, I just start crying. I'm just, what the fuck? Why is this man back? Well, he went and stayed with my mother's godfather. My mother's godfather allowed him to stay at our house. At his house, sorry. And my mother took him back. My mother, she just kept saying, like, I'm sorry, but he said he was sorry, and I just feel like he's gonna change. And did he? Do they ever? I remember, yeah, I never had friends. I did not invite nobody over. We were super isolated. Nobody fucking liked us anymore. She got back with him a week later. Yeah. And I want to say they were together for a couple months. I want to say 3 months after that. That's my guesstimation. Because, yeah. Me and my little sister had no choice but to stay there. Where were we gonna go? We didn't have a father. Barely had a mother. Our grandparents lived right next door. My grandmother hated him. My grandpa liked him because he would help him outside in the yard. But my grandma hated him. But nobody tried to talk her into leaving him. Nobody tried to tell her that he was toxic. Nobody did any of that. They just left us with this disgusting pedophilia man. I remember, like, when I got older, my mom told us that he would count mine and my little sister's underwear. And, like, him and my mom would argue because She said that was weird, and he would say, I'm just making sure they're wearing all their panties they're supposed to. Guys, and that man caused me so much trauma. Like, to this day, like, if my man and I get in a, if my man's mad at me, I immediately think he's gonna leave me. I'm just terrified. I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, if he, and I feel like I have to chase him and beg him to just talk to me, or just, and he don't like to talk when he's mad, so he gets, whenever I'm like in his face consistently, he gets really mad. It's just a thing, and he's definitely affected me. It's affected my relationship with my mother 1000%. But anyway, that's my trauma dump video about my stepfather. I could definitely do a part 2 series. There could definitely be more if y'all want that. If you haven't seen my other ones, please go watch them. Yeah. Oh, and if you know me in real life, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for attention. I'm just telling my story, okay? I'm just telling y'all me. A lot of people don't know much about me, especially if you're in my life today. I don't talk about things with nobody. People like to hold it against you. So if you do know stuff about me, please just keep it to yourself. Please don't be talking about it at work, friends, anything like that. Just let me live my life, please. I don't be talking about your trauma. Don't be talking about mine. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Love you.